Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic, or Nick Classic Less Known Classic. This is episode 2586 and 24. I believe this is 80. Yeah, 2480. Yeah, we're discussing Justice League Breakdowns crossover. Yes, the entire crossover, including a Green Lantern tie-in, along with the Volume 14 Titans. Now, Justice League Breakdowns. It is a crossover between Justice League America and Justice League Europe. This crossover is noteworthy for being one of several things. There are several things in this crossover. Number one, this is the last thing Kate Giffen and DeMatteis do with the JLI until the I Can't Believe It's Not the into the Formula Justice League miniseries in the early 2000s. It's the last thing they do for a decade with them. Number two, the Justice League gets restructured. Basically, all like those cool characters. Some people were part of the book from the very beginning. Some quit, and there are some deaths in here, not a lot per se. And also, we have one of the most stupidest things happen in the crossover. At one point, the UN revokes the Justice League Charter, and March Manor tells the person who gives the message like, "That's a bad idea." And don't worry, they get their clearance back by the end of the crossover. But yeah, even I agree. That was a because they're unstable. Why? Because Max Lord's in a coma? Really? Yeah, it's all the bullcrap happening in this crossover, but the story is really good. Yeah, so basically, one of the villains of the crossover is this UN ambassador by the name of Kurt Hamlick. And like, oh, let's bring back the Global Guardians for this crossover. For this crossover to be sort of an antagonist to the team. But the team disbands before the crossover wraps up. Yep. Yeah, the one we know the fact that just like Europe, basically that the team has basically been calling it quits. Now, Max Lord was not going to call him by this mysterious person, which by the end of this crossover, don't really go into exactly who did it. So by issue 54, we have Tasmanian Devil, a character from the Global Guardians. He joins the roster. Yep. With issue 54, which was actually part 3 of the crossover. Then part 4, which is basically just like Europe issue, they have Group X Justice Leaguers, basically the JLI, which is basically Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, Crimson Fox, and Ice. Now, the Green Lantern issue, this comes basically when the whole revocation of the charter happens. So basically, Guy Gardner basically just leaves, and the whole issue is basically what the heck he was up to between issues. That's mostly exactly what the issue is for. And the issue itself was written by Gerald Jones, the guy who was writing the book at the period of time. He was also the co-writer of Just Like Europe. Excuse me. DeMatteis actually left the book as the writer of issue number 11. And Gerald Jones, particularly issue 12, as a matter of fact, he would stay as the writer until the final issue of the series before it gets restarted before it gets relaunched at Justice League International Volume 2. Yes. So, we also have a character from Global Guardians who dies, the second Little Mermaid. Yeah, she gets introduced in this one and she gets killed off in the same issue. About the whole evil twin stuff. Yep. And in part 5, and everybody's like turning against them. Oh, by the way, in the story, Power Girl does not wear her popular costume with the boob window. Nope, she has to wear this white and yellow jumpsuit throughout this whole story for seemingly no reason. Yeah, I have no idea why the heck this is. Also, one of the Queen Bees gets killed off in the story. Yes, And this is not the original Queen Bee. This is one of them. This is the one Giffen DeMatteis created. First producing National number 16. She gets killed off in this very story. Yeah, if you're really curious though, is she the original Queen Bee? Let me take a look about that. Let me take a look here about Queen Bee. Was this person the original Queen Bee? Zazalia. Let's see. Okay. Okay, let's see. Justice League America. Okay, here we go. Okay, so yeah, that one was not the original one. This was the original one was Zazal. It was an alien. That was the original one. The one that appeared in the JLI book. That was the second Queen Bee. Mm-hmm. Yep, she was second Queen Bee. And she gets killed off in the story. And they also kill off the character Jack-o'-lantern, who first appeared in the first annual for Justice League Europe, and he gets killed off in Justice League America 55. Now, I say the book is called... Now, those of you confused about the naming change, I have asked DeMatteis why the name was changed for. He has no idea why the name was changed for. I can't ask Keith Giffen that because he passed away last year. The other person who could know about the name change is maybe Kevin McGuire. Maybe, but I get a chance to see him again. I might ask that, but who knows? So, Justice League Europe. Power Girl does not appear in issue 31. Nope. Maybe Power Girl's cat. It's basically them versus Despero. Yeah, Despero gets involved in this story somehow. And you might be asking, does he get into fight with Martian Manhunter in this story? Yes, he does. Yep. Yeah, Despero comes halfway to this damn story. I'm like, really? Despero. Why the heck is he even here? Oh, because he's a Justice League villain. And my guess is they decided to throw him in because why not? Yes. Despero. Yeah. Yeah. It's like he's here because, oh, we gotta have a really cool villain. Let's not have any politics in this story. Yeah. Yeah, let's basically not have, let's not use the politics stuff. Oh, no. Let's basically bring in a really awesome villain from the fight because maybe the story was getting something a little boring with the politics stuff. And like, ooh, I know. I guess, I don't know if it's Keith or Jane that goes like, what would be to spice this story up? I know. Let's throw in Despero. No Justice League villains basically fight both teams. Yes, seriously. Yeah, that's kind of what he does here. He just shows up in the story. Yeah, then in issue 56, which is actually part 7 of the story, like, they continue fighting Despero. Yeah, he appears like a lot for this second half of this crossover. Yeah. So, is there any more depth to the story? Not really. Yeah, we also have a hallucination of Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol. And then in part 9 of this story, yes, part 9, but by the end of part 8, Maxwell Lord is out of his coma. Yep, and he decides to join up with the Extremists for some reason. And by the way, the cover for the issue is a clear homage to Justice League #1. Yes, for some reason they decided to do this, except that Dreamslayer has been possessing Maxwell in the story. Dreamslayer, if you don't know who the heck this guy is, Dreamslayer is basically DC's Dormammu. I'm not kidding about that. That's literally what he is. The other members of the group, Dr. Diehard, he is basically a Magneto ripoff. Yep, Gorgon. He is based upon Dr. Octopus. Lord Havoc, the leader of the team. He is based upon Doctor Doom. And you also have Tracer here. By the way, all the members here are robots. Tracer is based upon Sabretooth. Yeah, and by the way, the Extreme is based upon the Masters of Evil. And then move over to part 10. Yeah, where frickin' Lobo pops up in the story, and he gets to fight with Despero. I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. Lobo in this story. He had appeared in this whole series since like the first year of the book, and now he returns to the very end of the story. It's great Giffen brought this guy in because he created this character. So of course, basically, throw in Lobo. I mean, having Lobo here is like proves of like, yeah, now we're getting awesome stuff here with frickin' Lobo. They do kill off one person here, Mitch Wiki. Yeah, he was a minor character from just like Europe. So apparently he's based upon Walt Disney. Yeah. But Lobo. Who would have thunk Lobo would be in this story? Yes. Yeah, he basically webs the floor with Despero. Yep. And they continue to brawl throughout a lot of the story. Yep. And they go, I always brainwash the natives on Kui Kui Kui. At the end of part 13, part 12. In the case of, oh yeah, the cover of part 13 is hilarious. Like, you have basically Martian Manhunter and Blue Beetle in a pot. And you have Power Girl and Metamorpho. Metamorpho this period of time was exported to Europe. The cover is hilarious. Like, look at this Mexican country. It's basically the island of cannibals. Because of course they're going to eat them. Yep. But they're here in flashback. The whole thing of this is just kind of hilarious. And then moving into part 14. Yes. Where let's throw in... Oh, by the way. Silver Sorceress gets killed off in this issue. Yes. A character who was a character introduced in Just Like America number 87 release, and that came out in 1971. Yeah, February 1971. She's a creation of Mike Frederick. So an old Just Like character. Okay. Now, is he still alive? I think so. Yeah, he won WonderCon. Yeah, it's like, okay, let's kill off this character here for no reason. Yep. Yeah, let's basically have people burst the cover, like the cover itself, like, oh, new extremist. And it's basically just, the cover itself is a clear nod to Giant Size X #1. The issue 60, the finale for this story arc. Marsh Surrender quits the team. Yep. And then pretty much basically the aftermath is told in Justice League Europe number 36. Yep. It's the end of an era. Yeah. So, for Europe, Blue Jay, Crimson Fox, Elongated Man, Wally West, Metamorpho, Power Girl, and Red Rock all quit the team. Just like America, the roster had at that point Blue Beetle, Fire, Guard Gardner, Ice, all quit the roster. Yep. Kilowog goes back to Green Lantern Corps in Green Lantern Volume number 20. But that's the crossover in a nutshell. Basically, like, Max Lord's back, and, like, they don't trust him, and, like, all those cool characters you love about this series, nope, they're all gone. So, with the relaunch Justice League Spectacular, we have a brand new roster, where Justice League America basically has Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Fire and Ice, and Guy Gardner back in the team, but this time led by Superman. Yes, Superman has joined Justice League America. And Europe is basically charged with Aquaman, Crimson Fox, Dr. Light, Elongated Man, Wally West, Hal Jordan, and Power Girl. Yep. And of course, basically, Dan Jorgens at that point takes over his writing duties of this book. Yep. But I thought it was a really fun crossover. Yep. I think probably the best thing about this crossover story is Lobo and Despero, because I think some people who probably read this crossover originally, but like, this crossover is a bit lengthy. Let's do something awesome. Ooh, let's go with Despero and Lobo. Yes. But absolute really fun crossover. Gonna give it roughly a 9 out of 10. Final thoughts on the Keith Giffen, DeMatteis era for this book. This era is absolutely so awesome. Yes. There's no denying these two did an excellent job with this book. Oh, yes, they did. Now, I've never found anything really bad about this book at all. The book is just pure fun. And here's the strange thing about this book that you might find interesting. Did you know that there's not a lot of this era not in trade? And you're like, really? Yeah, really. Yeah, for some strange reason, I do not know why this is. So, for in the case of just like, this era anyways, for these first 60 issues, they're not all in trade. You're like, really? Yes, really. They're not all in trade. Like, there is the Justice League International volumes, the original books I originally read when I read this era. Now, that book collects the first 35 issues of Justice League, such as Justice League International, Justice League America, along with its first 3 annuals. It also collected Justice League Europe, basically the first 11 issues, and that was it. And then DC decided to do a new printing of this, where the book 1, Born Again, it is pretty much in a way they just combined the first 2 books and part of book 3 into one book. And then, like, for book 2, what they did with this one is they finished up book 3 and they went into book number, like, they basically combined, like, books, the second half, the rest of book 3, and do books 4 and 5, and that was it. They never went any further than that. Nope. Yeah, I don't know why they never finished doing this one. As a matter of fact, that last book came in roughly, like, 3 years ago, and I reviewed it just, like, last year. It was a great book to read. I love reviewing this stuff. I had reviewed, like, the next set of issues, thanks to, on here, just like International Volume 6, which collected 31, 35, and just like Europe, issue 7 to 11. Excuse me. Now, there is an omnibus that does collect some of the rest of this era. Yes, there is. There is 2 of them. That first book, International Volume 1, pretty much in the way, like, that one omnibus book, that very first volume, that is literally the 2 new big books combined into one. And then, like, Volume 2 is, like, that Volume 6 for Justice League International, plus it collected, basically, issues 36 to 50. For Justice League Europe, it was issues 12 to 25. The 4th annual for Justice League America. The 1st annual for Justice League Europe. Justice League Quarter, which they collected once in 4 in Corporate Maneuvers. And the International Special. And that was it. Yeah, this, I do not know why in the world they didn't bother to finish collecting it. It is quite weird. Like, I remember seeing there was a trade that did collect the International Breakdowns crossover, but then it just disappeared. Like, I remember seeing it online, and I never got my hands because it was expensive, but that was the one thing kind of weird about the story. And then, then all of a sudden, DC jumped to the Dan Jurgens era and collected that, which I've discussed it before with the Superman Just Like America stuff, which collected Just Like America 61 and 77, just 2 books, the Spectacular A number 6. For Justice for Wonder Woman, and then they went to Wonder Woman. The reason I changed to Wonder Woman and Just Like America because Superman died in the whole Death of Superman story. I think it was let me take a look and see who wrote that one. Let's see. That was issue number 78. At that point, it was not Dan Jurgens. He actually left the book at the very, very brief period of time. The book was taken over by Dan Valito. Yep, he took over the writing duties in the book. Yep. And he only did just these issues. And then pretty much for this book, it was briefly taken over by Christopher Priest, like right after this. And they had Joe Jones, pretty much the rest of this era. Yeah. But next time I talk about both books, it will be talking about what happened next. And since I've already discussed the Dan Jurgens run and the Dan Valito run, it's on next Christopher Priest and Joe Jones for their solo eras. So for Just Like America, there is exactly, because this book lasted for 113 issues, I have exactly 22 issues left to review for this series, and that's it. For Just Like Europe, there are 14 issues and 1 annual. Yep, 1 annual. Those of you curious about how many annuals left to go for Just Like Europe, Just Like America, excuse me. There is. Now, how about review number 5? Yes, I have. So, okay, did this other books collect the annuals? Well, the Superman collected number 6. The next one collected number 7. So, I have exactly about 3 annuals left to discuss for Just Like America. Annuals 8 through 10. Yep. And for some reason, DC decided not to collect this stuff for some reason. I do not know why. Yeah. So there's basically about 3 more annuals left to go. I'll probably discuss those later. And this volume only produced like 3 more annuals, and that was it. I'll be discussing those in the future, definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to discussing those. So basically, 22 issues, and of course, like 1, and of course, the 22 issues. For Just Like Europe, there is just the 14 issues and 1 annual. I might discuss them when I get back to Just Like Europe. I probably will be discussing those issues. So there's that. Alright, so next up we have is Teen Titans. And these issues are... This is, if I can find it here... here we go. This is Volume 10, Change of the Guard, which collected issues 62 to 69. We have Shaman Keeper in these issues, and this is where tragedy strikes this book. Yes. The book becomes very dark in this book. You're like, is there a reason why it becomes dark? Well, you're about to find out and see. Basically, the opening issue, they bring in the Wonder Twins, who have not aliens or regular humans, and Wonder Dog becomes evil and kills Melvin. Yes. It's like, Shaman Keeper thought this was a cool idea to have Wonder Dog turn evil and kill one of the twins. Yes. Wonder Dog became evil. And by the way, he's actually killed in a few issues after this. Yep. That's the big thing that happens here. That's what happens here in this opening issue. And then we have Pawns and Kings. And we have, of course, the JSA teams with them to deal with this little storyline with finding Wonder Dog, and then by issue 64, like by 65, Wonder Dog is dealt with, and of course, Wonder Girl has to deal with basically her uncle Ares, at least her brother. Yeah, basically, then of course Wonder Dog gets killed off in 65, and then 66 begins a very strange story arc known as the New Deal, where like, oh, we're gonna have new members join the team, and in the opening issue, Tim Drake quits the roster. Yes. Like, oh, we gotta recruit new members, and then the leader quits in the very opening issue. Yes, he quits. And these are your potential members: Bombshell, of course, Cyborg's here too, Misfit, Shining Knight, Speedy, Spoiler, Supergirl, Tracy, 13, Wendy, and Cowboy Rich Boy. Now, Robin does mention the reason why he does this, because he wants to go give Stephanie Brown moral support. That's the reason why I quit the team. I'm like, okay, pretty reasonable. So, and of course, they have to deal with Brother Blood in this story too. And by the end of the story, we actually have brand new members. Though, we also have a backup one with Origins Omens. That's mostly put just a lead into Blackest Night. That's mostly put exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. Then by 6 now, we have some brand new members join the roster. We have Aquagirl, Bombshell, and Static Shock join the roster. Kid Eternity is part of the roster too. Look, Eddie Boomerang, Miss Martian. Now, people who stay with the team, which is Blue Beetle, Eddie Boomerang, Kid Eternity, Miss Martian, Wonder Girl, and new members of Aquagirl, Bombshell, and Static. Bombshell is like a female equivalent to Captain Atom. That's mostly put exactly what she is. And she only exists in this very volume. Yeah, but she is very occasionally in this book. Mostly put she just stays in this book. And it's like she just basically shows up here as a supporting character, and you have Static join the team. Who is Eddie Bloomberg, you might ask? Why, that's Red Devil. Yep. And Aquagirl, this of course is not the original one. Oh, no. This is actually somebody who first popped up in that volume's Aquaman. Yeah, she's a creation of Wolf Pfeiffer and Patrick Gleason. Yeah, she joins the roster. And I don't remember her doing a lot of anything, per se. No, not really. And she's in this book from, like, on a regular basis from 6 to 9. And she's here mostly until, like, the final issue. But she's here for pretty much the rest of the book. Yeah. Really cool idea how they joined the book. And, of course, having Static Shock join the roster was really cool. Now, the reason I got Eddie Bloomberg is he's powerless. He loses powers. And, well, it's a cool storyline. I do like the New Deal. The problem is basically having the leader quit in the opening issue. So, you're probably thinking, if Robin quits the team, who takes over as leader of the team? Wonder Girl. Yep. And she means leader of the team for a lot of the remainder of this run. Until Tim comes back as Red Robin. So he's gone because stuff related to Bat books. That's mostly the reason why he leaves. Yeah, probably to give the Ultimate character a rest. But I'm going to give these issues in particular, this trade, a 9 out of 10. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular view. Next up, another comic corner. Okay, next view. Bye.